Yeah, guys, I don't really pay attention to Xbox that much. So when I woke up the other day and I saw there's a presentation, and hey, I gotta say, this one was actually good.
Yeah, it was kind of short, but they definitely showed out a lot of good hitters that are definitely coming out.
Yeah, I mean, it started off strong. We got another look at Alan Wake 2, the Lake House DLC. Watching it and seeing how like weird and crazy it is, I just knew right away. I'm like, oh, this has to be freaking Alan Wake, right? Because it just looks so good. And I really need to dive into this series already, man.
Dude, I still haven't played the first one, man. Because it's like a true survival horror, isn't it?
Yeah, from what I know. And then I know like with 2, it's very out there with like all the concepts and things they do in there.
Yeah, I'm super looking forward to seeing how like it all kind of comes together. I think that the DLC is not about Alan, but about like one of the characters. The thing about it, I haven't played the first Alan Wake either, but I know that they had a DLC similar to this DLC. So it's kind of like the continuation from the last DLC of the first game, because you don't play as Alan, you play as this like detective lady, like this FBI lady or whoever. So I think that that's kind of cool. That I haven't really seen too many games that have done like kind of DLC that split off from the main story but don't really revolve around the main character. The only other game, honestly, that I've seen like that was Final Fantasy 15, where each of the DLCs weren't about Noctis, they were about like the other characters that you play with.
Oh yeah, like the boys in the group, and then there was one for Arden, and I still wish there was like the one for his wife, Luna Freya, but yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down. I can't think of any off the top of my head. I'd say maybe Infinite, the second part of the DLC, because you go to Rapture.
Right, yeah, you're Elizabeth, right?
Yeah, and then you're like the different Booker. I can't think of any that actually follow that kind of concept.
It just goes to show like how expansive the Alan Wake universe is.
Yeah, I should hop on that too, because I think that game came out free for PlayStation Plus a while back.
That was one of those that I bought physical when the PS5 version came out. I think Wario had dropped a deal for it. I was like, heard good things. I'll give it a go.
It's good to have it. What with this whole thing about us having licenses instead of the product, it's good to have it.
Yeah, that license thing is funny, Oscar, because yeah, like it's being brought up now, and everyone's like, "Oh, finally, this and that." It's like, what do you mean finally? It's always said that.
It's always been this way. Yeah, if it wasn't directly told to you, people will just not think about it or act like it's a thing.
I get a ton of movies on digital, and every time I bought it, like for years, it always say the same thing. So I'm like, okay, I know I don't really own it. You could decide one day, like, yeah, fuck you, kid. You're not going to see Terrifier 1 anymore. You're not going to see Detachment anymore on here. God forbid they take away Trees Lounge.
Yeah.
But it's like, I already know what I'm expecting. People crying about it for the games. Like, you guys just don't know how to read.
I mean, dude, if you go right now and like on the PlayStation and, when you click the option menu on a game to like check update, close game or whatever, on that list, it says renew license.
Which is funny because I remember using the license function way back in the 360 days. I mean, the whole thing about it is like when PS3 and Xbox came out, the whole function of you being able to take your profile with you and not your console. For Xbox 360, at least, because I had one, we could just, log into a different Xbox 360, connect online, or whatever the fuck. And again, it was like very similar to PlayStation Plus, where you can just have like cloud data. It wasn't as expansive, like it wasn't like a whole server, but it was just like you can at least go in and download the games that you bought through your account onto other people's consoles. As long as your account was on that console, it didn't really matter if it was a primary, because they didn't have like the primary setting back then. So as long as your account was on it and you were logged in, you were all able to play that game on that person's console. Now, like if you get your own Xbox and you like want to put your shit on there, this is where that setting would come in to renew your license, because you get the game and all of a sudden it's like, hey, you can't start the game. What's going on? Your account is logged into a different console. Okay, well, you remove the account, but it's still wonky. That function kind of triggers, like, I would say the server to go through your catalog, through your history of all of your purchases, look through those licenses, basically the license that you purchased to play the game, right? And then gives you access to download it again through the store. That's how I used to do it all the time when we were playing like Halo Reach and stuff like that. That made sense to me like when I was really young.
And it just sucks. We're all moving towards all digital now. Anyways, the next game they showed off, pretty smart. This is like the perfect time to announce this game. Chronos: The New Dawn, CG cinematic of like the vibe for this game. And then we got, I guess if you want to call it gameplay at the end, where you see the character model move around to show that's, it's an over the shoulder, like space horror game. And this is from Blooper Team.
Ain't that the dudes that did the Silent Hill remake?
Yeah, they just came out with Silent Hill 2 Remake, which is pretty good. Fresh off the heels from that, and they're showing this right after Alan Wake. It's like, yeah, this is a perfect time to show it off. Let's just hope that this is actually a good game. I've never played any Blooper games, but from what I understand is they don't make good games.
Is that right?
They made The Medium.
Oh, yeah, I'm remembering. I just looking at the covers for these games, dude. I remember a lot of these games. Yeah, Medium was one of the games that came out, I think, right around the time the PS5 just launched, right?
No, a little bit after. It came out in 2021. It's the horror survivor game where there's like 2 worlds that you can jump into at any time. The big selling point for it was they got the original composer for Silent Hill to work on it. Like that was like their attention grabber, but from what I heard, that game is just not good. And they're like, yeah, if you give Blooper a blueprint, like with Silent Hill 2 Remake, yeah, they could do good stuff. But on their own, it's still up in the air.
I do like that it kind of looks like a Big Daddy, though.
Yeah, it looks pretty interesting.
This is definitely giving me Necromorph vibes, and I'm really about that shit, dude. I really hope that this does a lot better than what was it, the
Callisto Proto? Yeah.
I don't think it's going to even play like that, really, but just from what I say. The thing about the title is it really sounds a lot similar to the other Chronos game. The one that's like a part of the lore for Remnant.
Oh, really?
Because, yeah, that other game, the other Chronos game that I'm talking about, that's the part of Remnant and Remnant 2. Oh, but Chronos Before the Ashes. If you look at the final boss for this game, part of the lore from Remnant 1. You never played Remnant 1, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Did you not like it? Was it one of those games you tried and you're like, this isn't for me?
I think I was like 2 bosses deep, and it just got boring just with the gameplay loop of just you're walking around using my rifle just to pick enemies off. Now, Remnant 2 looks way different and way more fun, so I am willing to give that a try.
All the DLCs have just came out, so I think there should be a Game of the Year edition soon if it hasn't already came out.
Yeah, this says Chronos is a prequel to Remnant. It takes place 1 month before the start of the first game. I was looking at this game for a while because it goes on sale a lot. I was like, oh, this actually kind of looks cool. Did you play this?
I did not play Chronos, no. I didn't think it was going to be my cup of tea, to be honest with you. I watched all of the boss fights, and I pretty much got it from there. I was like, okay.
And yeah, not holding my breath for the next game. I mean, it looks cool, but, it's just a shooter. But at least it looks fun. I don't know, Blind Fire. It's a PvP game, and the aesthetic, I thought it looked like a laser tag. It's like, that's pretty cool.
Well, the good thing about it is this game, I think, is already out on early access. I don't know. I think that these games, like this game and games like, what was it, like Splitgate?
The Halo one, yeah.
Yeah, the Halo Portal game. Like these kind of games, like they make it a little bit more funner. It's like what Splatoon tries to do.
Hey, you calm down there. Splatoon is great.
I'm making a point.
But that's also a different kind of game, too.
But what I'm saying is you're taking 5v5. It's first-person shoot. Well, Splatoon's not really first-person shooter, but my point is it's a shooter. You get a gun, right? And in this case, you're shooting each other. In Splatoon's case, you're trying to make sure that you have most of the map covered. You can still shoot the other person. So there's the whole like mechanic. In this game, it's just like, okay, you're just shooting each other in the dark.
The reason I said the laser tag is because like that first area, it's all like neon lights and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, this feels like that. But yeah, most of the map, it's gonna be pitch black. If you bump into stuff, yeah, like the lights will, like something will affect that area, and then you can attack. I mean, I would think it would be hard to make a unique FPS that stands out these days. If it's just normal, why would they buy that when COD is here?
Exactly, right? Because they're always tired of the same shit.
And in this market, if it's not free to play, it's a little like, ooh, like, you want us to pay for this game?
Mm-hmm. This piece of shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Blam, this piece of shit. It's fucking...
But yeah, this is cool. The UI looks cool. I like the aesthetic for it. I'd be down to check it out if the early access is like, hops on for us, or if this is a free to play. I'd be down to check it out a little bit.
Like I said, shooters, you kind of hit the hammer on the head, dude. Like, you really have to do something different with shooters to entice people to really give it a go.
The you can't see your opponent aspect, it reminded me of this this indie like shooter party game I bought. It was called like oh god, what was it called? Like Party Screen or something. I think it's either you or everyone is invisible, and the whole point of the game is you have to look at everyone else's screen to try to figure out where they are so you could fight, so you could shoot them.
I punched that in and all I got was how to cheat in Mario Party.
Oh, here we go. Screen cheat. That's what it was called. Oh, everyone's invisible. Yeah, so the whole point is you have to cheat to play. So, again, like something fun and unique in a shooter aspect will easily catch my eye. Yeah, hopefully this does good, and it doesn't like die too quick. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The next game, man, freaking hyped. Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza, Majima's fun time. And sure enough, from the last trailer, people guessed, yeah, we're getting naval battles.
Dude, so is this a standalone or is it like a really extended DLC to Infinite Wealth?
I would say it's a standalone. In and of itself, you can buy the game, you can play it, and you would probably be able to enjoy it for what it is versus what it does for the actual like continuity of the game and the story.
I just didn't know if it was going to be like, how we got Majima's story, was it in Kiwami?
Kiwami 2.
Kiwami 2. I mean, shit, dude. All you have to do is slap Majima on something and like the whole world is healed.
Yes. Yes.
That's kind of it.
Yeah, and he's Devil May crying his ass all over the place, man. It just looks awesome. And it's even more Devil May Cry shit when he starts busting out these instruments. It's summoning like animals and stuff. It's like, this is just insane.
This is the kind of wacky stuff I love from Yakuza.
Yeah, I'm so hyped. And it's funny enough, they actually moved the date. So instead of the 28th for February, it's coming out on the 21st. That's the smart move. That's now 1 week before Monster Hunter comes out.
Yeah, it gives you a little bit of time to get the dedicated players, to get the game at least before having to compete with WoW when it comes out. Because there is no doubt in my mind that when WoW comes out, that game is going to take precedent over a lot of people.
Well, especially their main target audience for Yakuza is Japan still. Mm-hmm. Japan takes a break when Monster Hunter releases.
Yeah, there's like a national, have a day off day every time Monster Hunter or an Idle Love game comes out.
Dude, it's like when Final Fantasy 15 came out, Square Enix published out this document that was like, please excuse so-and-so from work for X amount of time because they're going to go and help the young prince and his group of friends to go and save the world. And I literally did that. I said it, I gave it to my boss. He looked at me and goes, what the fuck is this, dude? I'm letting you know formally, I'm not going to come in for a week. I got to go save the world with my friends.
After that, we're actually getting a bigger look at Mouse PI for Hire, like Mickey Mouse style game, like Steamboat Willie. Pretty cool, man. We've mentioned it a while back. Just love the aesthetic for it. Just like the hand-drawn animation style and stuff. And when I was watching the stream for this, a lot of people were like, oh, it's like Cuphead. And I'm like, okay, just because it has the same like era of art style does not mean it's like a new Cuphead game.
Yeah, you're right. It's just purely aesthetic for that old-timey, I want to say 20s era type shit. I think the thing that gets me the most, and I had mentioned this earlier, is when we take a look at the gameplay and we see that you're a 2D character in a 3D world. I think that this is the precipice of what the next type of trend is going to be. When we think of what are people going to do different, I think it's just kind of going to be an aesthetic type thing, because I've seen already a couple of other games that are kind of trying to mimic what this game is doing. They don't come to my mind right now, but I've definitely noticed them, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is definitely a $1 billion idea type thing, So it wouldn't surprise me if I definitely see a lot of other developers and publishers try to do something like this too. This is a great idea. This took off as soon as it needed to, as soon as the mouse was released to everybody. Disney fought so hard to keep that shit, and it's just this is the kind of ideas we can get when we have it.
I would argue no, this game would come out if they still had the rights to Steamboat Willie, because it's just an aesthetic. It's not, they're not using Mickey Mouse and stuff like that. Yeah, after that we got a big old cinematic for Subnautica 2. Yeah, just glad Jerry's not here right now because he'd be freaking out, right? Because this trailer, you're just stuck in the abyss of the ocean. And I'm like, yeah, forget this, dude. No thanks.
I've seen a lot of Subnautica videos, and I think honestly the best parts are like, where just people are just doing on stream, minding their own business, just cultivating or just doing the research, whatever. And then out of nowhere, that those giant like deep sea monsters come out from like the abyssal zone or whatever, and they're just like in whatever kind of layer, like I don't know, 20 feet under the water. So funny, and they just swim so fast too. It always freaks people out. It's so funny. Yeah, I'm about that shit, dude. I wouldn't say for sure that I would put myself in that situation, but it's always funny to watch for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure it's cool, but I'll just hang out at the beach. You guys can take a dive. I'm okay.
Maybe get in what is it, knee height? You could definitely see a shark coming. Like they'll stick out of the water. They can't get more than a couple. They can't get to shore. They're gonna beach themselves. So you'll be fine there. Just gotta watch out for like jellyfish and shit.
To my surprise, yeah, we got a trailer for Animal Well. It has our boy Donkey doing the narration for the trailer, and it's just pure dunkness.
Yeah, it's such a good trailer. What is the word he uses? Shadows.
Yeah, because shadows are without shadow there is no light. I remember you brought this up a while back, and I never did take a look at it, but this game does look cool. I like the it looks like the sort of CRT filter that's overlaid on it. Like that's nice. The way they use the lighting and stuff in these dark environments is really cool.
Yeah, it really does look like an amazing kind of puzzle game. I really need to revisit this. This game kind of reminds me of I don't know if you remember like those kind of games that they released like back when we were still in high school, like the Meat Cube game.
Oh yeah,
where you kind of have like these levels, and you're just kind of like avoiding like instant death, whatever. We're trying to make it to the end. It really does give me those kind of vibes. But I've seen like gameplay for like the boss fight and stuff like that, and it just like it's very interesting because I don't really think like your character can do any sort of attacks. I think you're just like movement wise. So it's like you navigating the environment to try to like beat bosses and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's interesting. I like to kind of, in a way, it's like a puzzle fighter type thing, a new take on it. I wouldn't say like what you think about like Street Fighter, puzzle fighter or anything like that.
After that, they showed off a game for Eden Zero. This just ended recently. It is the manga that Hiro Mashiro did after Fairy Tail. I haven't read it yet. From what I understand, they're in space and there's ships and stuff. Yeah, just weird we're getting this as a game. Like I don't know who's asking for this. It's gonna be an action game. It just makes me think, why can't they do that with Fairy Tail instead of the turn-based RPG?
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really seem like anything new to me. I mean, one of the girls literally looks like Lucy, and she's even got Happy on her head.
Well, yeah, that's Hiro's whole kind of shtick, is that when he likes a design, he keeps it. He does this thing with mascot characters. So like in Rave Master, his first series, there's 2 little mascots. And when he started Fairy Tail, we again go with the 2 mascots, but Plu carries over, and then we get Happy. And now it's the same thing here in Eden Zero, his next series. Happy carries over, and then they get a new mascot.
Okay, yeah. So in this case, Plu is going to get replaced with something else, maybe. Oh, yeah. There's the other one right there. It's like the little
robot girl. Yeah, yeah. And then whatever next series he does, it's going to be her taking over, and then a new mascot. It's funny, like he's done a couple crossover one shots before, like he did with Rave Master and Fairy Tail, but it's with his current art style. And when you look at it, it's like, oh yeah, all these characters look exactly the same. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not going to say I hate that while I go look at the guy that did History's Strongest Disciple, Kenichi. His old work and his current work, they're pretty much the same person. They're just wearing different outfits. After that, we got a new look at this game called Mistfall Hunter. And obviously, from the aesthetics, it's a Souls-like, and they are not holding back with that idea. Like a lot of Elden Ring aesthetics. I mean, like the waifu in the beginning just looks like Marika. They know what kind of game they're making, so they're like, let's not hold back. But it has its own unique aesthetic with all the enemy designs and stuff. Really cool. a Viking-esque aesthetic to it.
You know what this kind of reminds me of? It's kind of like a blend of Elden Ring and what was that one really good one? Hellblade.
Yeah, at least like with one of the bosses was just like this giant creature with antlers and like made out of wood or whatever. It's like, yeah, that looks pretty cool.
See, I'm all for these like Souls-like copies, you know, because I feel like each one of them brings something different to the table. You know, like I still haven't played Lies of P, but I've seen some videos. I'm like, I really like that. And then just looking at the trailer for Mistfall Hunter, but like they got some pretty cool powers in this one, man. I think this will be probably one of the better ones that I've seen. I think the last one besides Lies of P that I saw that was similar to this was Thymeria, where you're like a witch doctor-esque type design.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that game looks pretty cool. It got like a major update not that long ago, and it kind of fixed a lot of things some people had problems with. But yeah, that game looks fun too.
This is what, next year?
Yeah, I think it was next year. And the tag at the end, surprisingly, they mentioned that it's a Souls-like extraction game. I'm down. And there's probably going to be like a rogue-like aspect to that too, just to keep it fresh. Then after that, man, we got a chill little indie game called Wheel World. Hey, man, you like to ride bikes? You can ride bikes.
Hey, dude, tell me why that skull looks like the badge of the Soul Reapers that Rukia gives Ichigo.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. It looks like it's a, also like a racing game. Like, yeah, you can roam around and stuff, but I guess you can do challenges to get better gear for your bike. Do a little parkour action. Yeah, it could be cool.
It is from Annapurna, which gives me some hope that it's probably going to be pretty cool.
Early 2025 for that game. So it's cool, and I like the art style for it too. And then we got the trailer for Phasmophobia. It's going to be released on consoles on the 29th this month.
Maybe I was in some Delulu world, man, but I could have sworn this was already out for console.
I think it was just Steam, unless they hit like the Epic Game Store or whatever, you know.
I see like clips for it every now and then. It just looks like a lot of fun. Definitely a good team game. I wonder how that's going to be on PC. I wonder, not PC, but like console, because I'm kind of envisioning it to be something like Among Us, you know, where like it started in one spot and then just kind of blows up exponentially afterwards once it's released to everybody and their grandma.
Well, another fun aspect for Phasmophobia is it has proximity chat. So I think that would be better than just having like just hopping in a party chat or on Discord, right? Because at least it's like, it just gives you that extra level of what to do.
I'm all about the extra immersion, man.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when it's done well.
Cool, man. After that, we got a game called The Legend of Babu.
Dude, my dyslexia read this as The Legend of Baloo, and I was like, dude, a Jungle Book game? Sign me up, dog.
That'd be pretty cool. Cool little action game here. You're this kid traveling around with this big fluffy dog. I guess like the dog is like some deity or something. I don't know, one of like the murals of like this god or whatever. Like the dog is also there. So you guys are teaming up for something. Yeah, evil spirits and all that. I mean, it looks cool.
Dude, I still haven't played it, but I remember you played this one. I did pick it up eventually, but this kind of, at least the style, reminds me of Kenna.
Oh,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, I could see that because it looks like you're just using that spear or staff the whole time. Yeah, like the way the camera angles are and how you the enemies attack and all that, yeah. Yeah, Kenna was a good game. Once you get like in the nitty-gritty of it, you get like all the upgrades, like yeah, that game is pretty fun to play.
I mean, you put a big dog in there, and that's already going to gain a lot of reception.
Yeah, big fluffy dog. That's all I need. After that, yeah, we got another look at Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. This is from a Chinese studio. It's sort of like a Souls-like. Some people were saying it's like Chinese Neo, the way like some of the gameplay is. Like, they're really killing it over there, man. Like, you know, we got Black Myth this year. Yeah, I'm totally down.
I feel like a lot of these Eastern developers are really kind of coming out of the woodworks. I'm with it, man. This looks like kind of a cool blend of like, and I didn't play this, but just kind of remembering what I saw in trailers of a weird mix of Ghostwire and
oh yeah,
there was another one I was thinking of. I forgot it. You know, just like the time period of like what monsters that they're using in demons and spirits. I like it, dude.
You know, I would think that'd be a good place to end it because it's like, yeah, it's a strong game. But the last game they showed off was a new Remedy game. It's a 3-player co-op called FBC Firebreak. So I guess the idea is like you're actually agents from the Bureau within Control and like the Alan Wake stuff. Just you're actually going into the Bureau and seeing all this crazy stuff happen.
Is it really that time, man? Is it time to start looking into this whole universe here?
I think so, man. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff in these games. But yeah, so that was it for the Xbox Partner Showcase for October. And the other big thing to come out since the last episode is freaking One Piece. A lot of stuff happening, man. We got the new chapter, 11:30, pretty solid. And then there's going to be like a 3-week break.
And then the anime's on hiatus till April, right?
Yeah, the anime is taking a big break. I don't know what episode they left off on.
I think it's right before Saturn comes down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so when I saw that, I was like, they're probably pooling their money together to get that animation on fleek, because everything from that point on to the end of Egghead is just
insane.
That's got to be some like Wano level or even higher quality.
And yeah, like a lot of people were thinking, okay, yeah, they're probably just taking a break so that way they could get, all the budget necessary. But then we look and they also announced, hey guys, we're backtracking a little bit. We're going to remaster Fishman Island, and they're just giving it the modern anime touch to it. It's going to be redubbed, and that's just crazy.
It's going to be redubbed? I thought it was just the style. They're actually redubbing it?
Quote unquote Wano visual filters from like whatever this Twitter account was saying. They are condensing the episodes down, redubbing in Dobly, and it's going to be Fishman. Yeah, it's crazy. So it's going from 58 episodes to 21. Yeah, like at first it's like, okay, maybe they're just adding colors and shadows and stuff. Like, no, like some of these shots they showed off, like they're redrawing stuff as well. To make it fit more with like the new art style aesthetic, I guess. So it's going to be a lot of work.
Look, man, just give me the same treatment for Whole Cake or Dressrosa at this point.
Well, my thing is, why Fishman? Like, it's fine. Like, there's a purpose for it. That's why it's not the best. But like, yeah, this is just an odd one to pick, I think.
I feel like there might be something in there in this restyling that probably going to be really, really important for Elbaf. That's my only thought here. There's got to be something he's cooking up to be like, hey, here's a reminder for XYZ that happened in here, because we're getting back into the whole like ancient weapons, right? And she's Poseidon. So it's like, what does this have to do with the weapon that Emu used,
I guess it is also the start of the time skip too.
There could also be some good Gear 5 references, now that I think about it. But it could also be that, hey, we were actually getting really, really close to catching up to the manga, and it might not have been a good solution to be like, hey, we're just going to keep trying to be as close as possible. Because I feel like they did the same thing on the last break. And I think that was, I could be totally wrong, but I think that was when Red was coming out, or like some type of movie was being released, where we'd always get those filler episodes. Because it's generally the pattern that they'd always go down. It's like, oh, we're getting too close. Here's a movie that's getting released. Here's filler episodes. And then we'd get, a couple months more time of like actual storyline.
They have plenty of time, I think, to cover the rest of Egghead, since we're barely into Elbaf. But yeah, I guess, with this break coming out too, it could be a thing. Did you check out the new chapter?
Of course, dude. I check that page every Thursday morning.
Really nice touch that I guess it hasn't been shown off until this chapter. With Gear 5, that's when Luffy feels the most free. And what do we notice in this chapter? He has the X mark from Alabasta with Vivi's arc.
Yeah, the bit that I liked about that, and I didn't even notice it till someone else said it, the only people that know about the X is everybody who's on Elbaf right now. Like, Frankie don't know about it. I don't think Robin really knew about it, because that was right before it happened.
Yeah, I mean, she just says, like, it looks familiar, but she doesn't know.
See, I knew it was going to be interesting when only the original 6 split off. And I was like, ooh, this is going to be a good one, man. I'm telling you.
Just give me that Usopp power-up already, bro. Give me the Usopp and Frankie power-up.
Please. Ends off with a cliffhanger where we meet the new major player for the island, and that's going to be Loki. Yeah, pretty hyped to see what's going to go on with him, man. So much there. The fact that they mentioned, like, there's a devil fruit that gets passed down through the royal bloodline. Like, okay, already we're getting into something crazy.
Because now it's like, oh, well, we've always thought that the devil fruit remanifests somewhere else in the world, right? But if they're able to capitalize and be like, hey, you know what? You're getting this fruit now. It's like, what are you cooking over here, Oda?
Does that mean that it passes on when the person is born?
There's 2 ways to transfer a devil fruit, right? Well, maybe 3, I don't know. But the first one is, when the user dies, the fruit spawns somewhere. You know, like the first time we saw that was with Ace. Doflamingo was somehow able to get his devil fruit. And then the other option is how Big Mom got it.
Mm-hmm. By eating the souls.
Oh yeah, by eating
the person or whatever.
Technically, that's how we assume Blackbeard got Whitebeard's powers too.
That would be like the only like potential third option, is unless he did something different.
He killed his father or something, and that's why they locked him up. So he could have done something like Big Mom by eating the soul.
Talk about Blackbeard?
No, Loki.
He tried to murder his dad or something, and then they ended up putting him down.
I think he succeeded, and then they put him down. But they didn't really say exactly how he did it.
Yeah.
So that could be one thing that he did. I mean, and giants are huge, so...
You know, early on, Blackbeard, he talks a lot about, like, the planning that he was trying to do before he got the fruit. You know, he mentions, like, the things that he had to do to his stomach and all this other stuff. So I think it does involve a method of him, like, cannibalizing a corpse that has a certain power. And then with his stomach, because I think what they explained before, like, if a devil fruit user ingests a different devil fruit, the two devils will fight it out inside of them, and either one supersedes the other, or he'll just blow up.
No, if you eat two fruits, you die.
Blackbeard is just like, how do I not blow up? And that's the whole thing that, you know, that so far only he's managed to figure out, right? With whatever he did.
I know
to
how
himself.
he did it, bro. I already know how he did it. He got the thorn.
Okay. Oh, this guy.
He got the red Tharissa, bro.
I think there was a theory that said Blackbeard is Vegapunk's son.
Yes. The theory is like, yeah, he is like Vegapunk's son. That's why his body is different, right? If you remember the flashbacks with Roger and Whitebeard, they mentioned like, oh, he doesn't sleep.
Yeah, he never sleeps.
Yeah, and it was mentioned after he took Whitebeard's devil fruit. It's like, oh, how can he have two devil fruits at the same time? They mentioned like, well, his body has always been weird. And it's like, okay, so he probably got experimented on or whatever when he was with Vegapunk or something. And then of course the classic like 3 personalities in his head, like one for each devil fruit he would have or something.
I like that.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That's
Right. I think we exhibit that with the first time we ever see him. Right, and he's at the bar and he's like drinking something or eating something, and he's like, "Man, this is great." And then the next time you see him, he's like, "Man, this tastes like shit."
I mean, it's Oda, so it could be possible, but like, yeah, like his teeth get rearranged sometimes.
I was saying I really wanted Loki to train Luffy to use Gear 5. He just looks fun. I don't know why so many people I've been looking at recently have been reminding me of this character. I looked at Loki. I compared him to, I don't know if you remember the Miracle from Bleach. He was like the one that had like the helmet.
Oh, the Stern Rider.
Yeah, the Stern Rider. I don't know if you remember the Justice Friends
yes.
from Dexter's Laboratory.
Yes.
And they all remind me of Van Halen. Like like that Thor. The Thor parody guy is so funny, dude. Yeah, they just all have that look to them, dude. Especially Loki, bro. Loki just has that, like, you just give me a guitar, bro, and I'm gonna fucking shred, man. He just looks like fun, bro. So I'm hoping that, you know, we're gonna see some really good fights there.
He's self-proclaiming to be the sun god, which we know is not true. I'm just very curious what his devil fruit is. Yeah, man, other than that, like, the other big news, well, at least, like, for us anyways, was, like, Tekken. They came out and said something. You know, hey, they said, we're sorry, guys. We weren't thinking right, so don't worry. Here's what we're going to do. All right, the next DLC stage that's coming out for the last character, that's going to be included in the character pass. So if you bought that, you can get that for free now. The solution to, like, reimburse people for the stage, the Manju, what is it, the Manju stage? Or Genmaji Temple, is everyone's just going to get 500 Tekken coins. If you log in during the 29th through November 26th, you're going to get 500 coins. You know, if you bought the DLC stage, then, you know, you get your money back. And then if you didn't, well, you get free money. And you know what? People are still upset.
Can't please everybody, man.
One dude in the comment was just like, dude, they should just go back and give Genmaji Temple to everybody. Like, just go back and include it into the pass. Dude, it's already done. It's already a done deal. Like, you either buy the stage at this point or you don't. They're already going to give you the money back. On top of that, he was like, we should get 1,000 Tekken coins instead. And I was like, damn, like, there's only so much that they can do when it's already been mentioned that this is what was going to be the case, you know? You know, there's feedback from the community, and a lot of people wouldn't agree with it. But egregiously, it's like, you have to compromise here somewhere. Like, they're honestly, like, there's a good chance that, like, what you're asking for is not feasible up to a certain level with how much money that they put into this project.
It's just a stage. Like, Coin's like, I don't know if I'm just going to buy it. I mean, I guess I could, but yeah, it's just there.
I don't think you can buy it with coins. I think you have to buy it with actual money.
You might be right. Oh well, you know, it is what it is. It's over now. Alrighty, guys, we did it. We got another email in. Questions or comments, unversedpodcast@gmail.com, and we will bring them up on these episodes. And this one is coming in again from the boy Mark, so thank you. He's bringing up an old question mainly because it's relevant now. What's a thing that you would like to have a remake for, and why? Seeing as it's the year of remakes for video games, right? I figured this would be a good time to bring this up. And if it was a video game, he adds, is what would be something new you would want to add in addition to the quality of life stuff already? For me, there's definitely a lot of animes I would love them to remake. And it's, you know, during like the 2008, early 2010s era, where like a bunch of anime came out and then they don't get the season 2, so they get the original ending, right? Like with Claymore, Deadman Wonderland, freaking Soul Eater. And it's always like when the anime ended, the manga gets so much better. And it's like, God damn it, like we were right there. We could have just kept going.
I would agree with you on a lot of those things. I think a lot of the reasons for that was because a lot of these came out simultaneously. You know, I don't really feel like there was a good people who were watching the animated series versus who were reading them, like the volumes. Like there was a good solid base between them all around the times that all of these got released. So they're just kind of like springing back forth between all of them. Not really, I would say, enough views for them to justify continuing on. I had an old anime that I was actually revisiting that I kind of wish that they would remake. It was called The Law of Ueki.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It was completed. Like they managed, I think there's like 52 episodes in total. But altogether, yeah, it was a pretty good series. I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't mind if they remade that series because it was just really cool, personally. It was simulcasted too, so it managed to get a dub. Video game wise, I would have to give it up to Final Fantasy VI. The idea that they can go from the standard format that they had back in the original generation of Final Fantasy, like pixel art, 8-bit, 32-bit, whatever, like we're just going to go point A, point B, or do our turn-based battles. Now, with what they've done with 7, what they've done with 10 through 16, you know, they really have the ability to just go all out and like make it something totally brand new. The way that 6 plays, like there are so many characters, there are so many endings, there are so many plots. You can go in any direction. You can really pick any character that you really want to stick with, honestly, right? And just kind of experience their story and how it all kind of ties together. And then like I think like the antagonist too was really cool. We've brought him up before, but like Kefka is a really like interesting character in the Final Fantasy series. He's a really like no fucks given kind of character. He doesn't really do things out of like a need. It's more of a want with Kefka. Like he wants to see the world burn because he doesn't care and he thinks it's funny. It's a really good, interesting story. So I would definitely like to see those.
Yeah, game wise, I'm not sure. I mean, heck, like maybe just even go back to some of the old, like the PS2 trilogy for Ratchet and Clank. That would be cool, just to get the modern graphics and stuff that like Rift Apart has. Probably Deadlock, just because it's a different kind of Ratchet and Clank game, and it's really fun.
Oh yeah, baby! Tell me why every time I think about a Ratchet and Clank game, I always come back to Deadlock. It's just so good, bro. Like the replayability for that game is so great, and I just really wish that they bring it back. They bring back online.
Like the only thing that would worry me for that is if they would change Ratchet. I don't remember if I ever mentioned in the older episodes, but like, yeah, I was super hyped for Rift Apart. I played through the whole series for Ratchet and Clank, and just seeing him kind of become a simplified character by the end of it just kind of like disappointed me a little bit, because like during that first PS2 era, it's like, oh yeah, like he's really like maturing and like getting more serious and like actually being like this hero of the galaxy that he is. And then like, you know, in the beginning of Rift Apart, he's like, I'm kind of worried, man, like we haven't done this in a while, I'm getting a little anxious and stuff. And I'm like, he's just not the same anymore, or like he's just reverting back or whatever. Because like, yeah, in Deadlock there's like a more serious version of him, so I would just wonder if they would keep that or not.
I think, honestly, I think Rift Apart is probably the one I didn't play. This is the latest one, right? The one that came out for the PS5? Or along with the PS5?
Yeah, the PS5 one.
I think I played the one with Into the Nexus was the one before that.
The Into the Nexus was the last PS3 game for it.
Okay, and then the movie is the one that came out during the PS4. I want to say I played Into the Nexus. Which one was that one about?
Into the Nexus was the standalone game after the Future trilogy. Like some kind of witch girl, if I remember right, and you have to go to her home planet and like stop some stuff. This was also the one that came out on the Vita, I believe. This one was fun. It was weird because they kind of went with a different aesthetic for the models and stuff, so it looked a little bit different from the prior games. But it was fine. It was a decent like Ratchet and Clank game. The weapons are fun. You know, like some of the areas you go to are cool.
That's rad, man. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, but you were just mentioning right now, essentially, since these newer games, Ratchet is more like timid. Like he's not really like, yeah, gung ho, like I'm about it, like I'm a hero. Yeah,
like that's what I felt like. Like in the beginning, in the original trilogy, like you actually see his character growth and everything going on, and then now it kind of feels like he kind of just feels different to me. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just I just miss the old Ratchet.
You know, I feel like there was a distinct difference between what was it? Jack's personality in the other games too, right? Like in Jak 1, I've never played the Jak games beyond Daxter, and I think Jak's 3. I don't know if you guys played the Jak series, but maybe you can answer this for me. But I think that that was the same case with Jak's, right?
Correct, yeah. So 1, he doesn't really talk all that much, and then 2, he starts getting like a lot of personality. Like it was very much like silent pro tag, now gets a voice. I know Jerry went through the whole series, and I remember watching him stream it. I mean, those games still hold up pretty well today, right? They're still clunky in their own ways, but yeah, you definitely saw the growth, but it was more of a positive effect more than a negative one.
That's cool. Yeah, he got a lot of jokes too, right? Because I think Daxter was the comedic thing, and then like in 2 and 3, he just kind of like goes in with Daxter on like making jokes with people.
Exactly. Like it was a change that really made a good difference to the overall story and the character growth. It's not like how it was in Final Fantasy X and then going into 10-2, where Yuna's like, oh, I'm just a sweet summoner girl, you know, da-da-da-da-da, and now she's like gunslinger gung-ho and like doing all this crazy stuff. Like, yeah, it's okay, but that's not what I asked for.
I mean, hey, the fucking Final Fantasy's take on an idle game is wild.
Hey, I'm not complaining. Those fits were nice, but it wasn't what I asked for. But, you know, then it also makes sense because there's no Aeons anymore, right? Because Sin is gone and Yu Yevon is dead, and I'm not going to get into all the lore, but yeah. It's so much more of a passion project nowadays, right? Unless you're doing something crazy like that new one, Exposition 33, or like Metaphor that just came out.
Oh, yeah.
There's just not a lot of love, like in the general population, for turn-based stuff. If I really wanted a remake, I'd always obviously want like some type of Final Fantasy, you know, maybe incorporate some of the Rebirth stuff, remake stuff into it, because I think those work really, really well with the direction that they've gone. Man, honestly, the only game that always comes to the top of my head when it comes to remakes is the first BioShock. It just, if I could see that in enhanced graphics, like totally everything stays the same, like lore-wise, plot-wise, but just give me some different plasmids, new guns, just the visuals like going super crazy, like having all of the enemies. Like my favorite was always going to be the Houdini splicers. If you give me some crazy fucked up shit that they can do, I'm locked in, bro. You will bring BioShock back immediately.
That's fucking funny, Houdini splicers.
Yeah, dude, they start laughing at you, and then it's just like blow up into smoke and then come back at you and stab you in the back.
I remember those guys. Those were fun.
You know, a new Banjo-Kazooie would be really cool, especially considering how Astrobot went with the platforming. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Right on, fellas. We can go ahead and wrap it up here. I got to get out of here. So thank you for the email. We had another question, but we can bring that up on the next episode, which will be coming out next week. And again, that's unversedpodcast@gmail.com. And yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Good to have Adam back here shooting the shit.
Hell yeah, big dog.
Without further ado, man, we will catch you guys later.